The Home Mortgage Law Show is a paid program and is intended as a resource guide for education, information, and entertainment purposes and is not intended to provide specific legal advice. The information that you hear should not be used as a substitute for competent legal advice from a professional attorney. Hiring of an attorney is an important decision which should not be based on advertising or the information that you hear today.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Home Mortgage Law Show, brought to you by the law offices of Morris DuPont. We're with you every Saturday afternoon from 2 until 4 on our flagship station, News Talk 610 100.3 WIOD and 970 WFLA. The number's the same anywhere you're listening from, even if you're listening the iHeart app on your tablet or your smartphone. The number to call is 866-610-NEWS. That's 866-610-6397. So if you have any questions or concerns, now's the time to pick up the phone and call toll free. We have today attorney Shay DuPont.
And that's it?
And me.
Hello.
Hi.
Knock, knock, knock. Hello. Where's the rest of the team? Well, Will is still resting his vocal cords. Michelle Hanash, our bankruptcy attorney, who's been kind enough to sit in for Will the last couple of weeks. She, unfortunately, is out of town this weekend. George Fajardo, our director of loss mitigation, as we all know, we kind of pressured him to go to law school, so he's at the library studying. Hopefully he does use his iHeartRadio app.
That's
and does
right.
listen and sends me a few text messages during the show to let me know how poorly I'm doing.
Or calls in.
Oh, that would be great. So, it is interesting with the iHeart app on the smartphone for those people that when they come into a consultation with me, they go, I was listening to you on the radio and I ended up sitting in the parking lot at CVS. I wanted to hear the end of the story.
Exactly.
No need, folks. No need. Very easy. The iHeartRadio app on your smartphone allows you to hear the Home Mortgage Law Show every Saturday live from 2 to 4 on your actual phone. You can listen through it through a headphone, or you can just do it as I do, and I keep it actually on, and I'm able to hear the show. Whatever it is that I'm doing, I carry my smartphone around with me, and I have the iHeartRadio app set to WIOD, and I'm able to listen to the Home Mortgage Law Show when, of course, I'm not actually hosting it, which is very rare, but once in a while I do try and go on vacation. So here I am today, folks, all by my lonesome. So what am I looking for? A little help from my friends. That's right. I'm expecting the phone number to the radio show to be absolutely flooded with phone calls from people that...
Don't jinx it.
Flooded with phone calls, I'm telling you, from people who are looking to ask a question. I'm happy to be here to answer your questions regarding your home mortgage, whether it's regarding a loan modification, a short sale, a deed in lieu. Maybe you have a landlord-tenant question. Maybe you're trying to do a HARP refinancing. You name it, I'm here to at least try to answer it today because...
HARP, HAMP, HAFA.
A loan modification, a short sale. Look, you've got investment properties. Ooh, I have to tell you, I hate to brag, but I got the most incredible loan modification on an investment property this week. I got this. Okay, this guy is an existing client of the law firm of Morris DuPont. So I got him a loan modification on his primary residence. And I got him a reasonable, like about $180,000 principal reduction with the loan modification on his principal property, because it wasn't a Fannie Freddie, so I knew I was going to get a principal absolute forgiveness, not a deferment like you get on a Fannie Freddie. So I got him a really nice result on his primary residence. So I kind of put my hands together and said, okay, Miguel, how about that investment property of yours? Because I knew he had this investment property that was an absolute dog. I mean, he had 50% negative equity. He'd bought it at around $800, and it was now really worth around $400. And yet he wasn't convinced, even after I'd done a great loan modification, on his primary residence. I don't know why he wasn't convinced to give me the investment property. So I was like, oh, I really want to get a hold of that investment property because I knew I'd be able to get a good result. So, I wasn't thinking that I'd get it down to current market value or anything, but I thought I could make the numbers work for him so he wouldn't be out of pocket and it would make financial sense for him to keep the investment property, which he wasn't convinced of at that point.
Okay.
So I actually discounted my rate to him. I actually discounted and capped my success fee to him because I wanted that investment property so bad. And honestly, your ego takes over. You kind of want to show off. I was feeling kind of puffy because I'd gotten a good result on his primary residence, so I was kind of being a braggart and like, okay, come on, I'll agree to do it for this, that, and the other. Give me 60 days. And, no harm, no foul. If I don't get it, they deny it. No skin off your back.
Okay.
I'll credit you on something else, blah, blah, blah. So I went outside of the four corners of my regular retainer agreement. I had to write up all this stuff. If Miguel is listening, he's probably cracking up right now because I even, on the bottom of the retainer agreement, it even has in writing, see backside, because I even had to turn it over and continue writing. So I wrote him this great deal this week, $372,000 principal reduction.
What?
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. You heard it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, you better believe that Miguel, I even have to drag him down here. If I have to go to his house and pick him up and drive him to the studio, he will come in and be a Rocky segment for me.
So you told him to give you 60 days. How many days did it take?
Oh, gosh, I don't remember.
Less than that, right? Or about?
Maybe about. Probably just about. I'll check on that. But I'm going to have him on a Rocky. But the thing is, we just got it as a trial mod offer. So I don't like to bring people in when all they've gotten is a trial modification, although some people have insisted because they're so excited in their Rocky segments. I like to bring people in when they got the permanent loan modification just to be safe. But usually you get a trial mod. They tell you what the principal reduction is probably going to be. They tell you what the new amount's going to be. You usually get it on a permanent, especially when you use an attorney. But I think I'm going to wait with Miguel, but I am going to make him come in and be a Rocky segment for me because for those people out there that have investment properties, you've got to understand that you can get loan modifications on them and you can get principal reductions.
You don't have to get rid of it.
Right. You don't necessarily. Look, it might even not make sense. What I do in a consultation on an investment property is I say, okay, what is the current market value of the property? So let's use Miguel's property as an example. He bought it for about $800K. It was worth about $400 today. So I go, okay, Miguel, here, let's go to a mortgage calculator, and you can go to any mortgage calculator online.
I'll put one on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I have a mortgage calculator as an app on my phone. And when I'm in the office, I use mortgagecalculator.org. That's the one that I go to. Okay. So I go to mortgagecalculator.org, and I plug in $400K at 2% at 40 years. Because that's the best possible loan modification really that you could hope for, that the lender reduces principal down to the current market value, which is a dream come true, that they extend the loan out to 40 years, and that they reduce the interest rate to 2%. We're assuming it's not a Fannie Freddie loan. Okay, so that's the best possible result. So I plug those numbers into a mortgage calculator, and I get the principal and interest payment. Okay, whatever that is. Then I add to that what the estimated escrow would be. How do I get estimated escrow? I take the property taxes for this year, the hazard insurance. If you have flood insurance, I include that. I add those up, times it by 120%, because when you escrow these amounts, the lender always bumps it up by 20% to give them a little bit of a cushion. So I take that and then I divide that by the 12% and I get what the proposed is. So when we come after the break, I'm going to talk about how you can use that number and compare it to see whether or not it makes sense to do a loan mod.
You're listening to the Home Mortgage Law Show, 1-800-974-2712. You should have that phone number programmed to your phone. If you don't need it, somebody you know will. 1-800-974-2712. Toll-free number to book a free consultation at the law firm of Morris DuPont. If you can hear the show, guaranteed there is an office near you. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-974-2712. Much more of the Home Mortgage Law Show right after this. You're listening to the Home Mortgage Law Show, brought to you by the law offices of Morris DuPont. The number is 866-610-NEWS to call the show and talk to Shay. 866-610-NEWS. That's 866-610-6397. AT&T Wireless customers, star 610. So before we hit the phones, we do have calls. They did hear your
my plea.
Your plea.
I appreciate it so much. But I'll finish what I was talking about regarding how you can sort of analyze whether or not it makes sense to keep an investment property. And what you do is, this is what I do when I do consultations with people on investment properties. We look at what the current market value of the property is, and what I normally do is I pull that from Zillow, from Trulia, and from Chase Home Value Estimator, what the current market value of the property is. Then I go on to mortgagecalculator.org and I plug in current market value times 2% at 40 years. What does that equal for a principal and interest payment? I fold into that, then add in the estimated escrow, which is the taxes and insurance times 120% divided by 12 months. That gives you what the estimated escrow for a month would be. And you add those two up. That's your estimated monthly housing expense. Now add in your HOA fee. That is what it costs you every month to own that property, not including the maintenance that you might do or the repairs that you might do on that property. So what is that number? Is that more or less than what you are getting in rent for that property? If that number equals $2,000 and you only can get at best $1,500 a month for that property, and you have negative equity, you're not sure if you can get a principal reduction, I would think it makes more sense to short sale that property. Now, there's 3 different types of short sale, and you know what? Today, I'm going to go through the 3 different types of short sales, but first, I'm going to be very appreciative of the people that did agree to call in. So let's go to the phones and talk to Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for calling so early in the show. I appreciate it today because I'm all alone here. Well, Natalie's keeping me company. So, Tom, what can I do for you today?
I have some investment properties, 2 of which are I have first mortgages on through had them through Bank of America, and I've got home equity loans through Bank of America on both of the properties. They're roughly about $170,000 outstanding on each property. The value of the properties I had appraised of other properties probably around anywhere between 100 and 110, but there's no compatibles in the area because nothing's sold in the area other than foreclosures. I've been the equities are like a variable rate. They've been low for a while, and they'll probably be low for another year or two. But I'm kind of like a little worried about interest rates moving up because the first is fixed at 6.5, and the second is right now around 3.25. But I'm a little worried about it going up, and after a certain period of time, they automatically. I've been paying interest only. After a certain period of time, they're going to want me to pay some principal, and when that happens, probably interest rates will move up, and it'll really mess up my life for me. You know what I mean?
I understand completely. So let's go into a little more detail. Let's use one of the properties as an example. You have a first mortgage of how much? What's the principal on
probably
the first
around
mortgage?
about 88,000, 89,000.
Okay. And on the HELOC, on the home equity line of credit on that property, what's the amount on that?
Probably about 89,000.
Okay. All right. And the current market value of the property?
At most, maybe 120 at the most.
Okay. Okay. So on that, what we would probably like to do is see if first we can get a loan modification on the first mortgage to get that 6.5 down to 2%. That's the first thing we'd like to do. If we can qualify the first mortgage with Bank of America for a HAMP loan modification, that's Home Affordable Modification Program, HAMP, a HAMP loan modification on the first mortgage, because you can get a HAMP now on an investment property. If we can get HAMP on the first, that means that the second, that's also with Bank of America, must give you a loan modification on that second and lock in, give you a fixed rate on what's right now the adjustable rate mortgage, and it could possibly include a principal reduction on the second. You can't get a loan modification that includes a principal reduction on the first mortgage because it's fully secured by the property. You owe $88,000, and the current market value of the property is more than $88,000. It's worth $120,000. So we know that you can't get a principal reduction on the first mortgage, but we can see the interest rate go as low as 2% as long as it's not a Fannie Freddie, and I'll tell you how to check on that.
They're not.
They're not. How do you know that?
No. I've already had it checked out because I tried through Bank of America. I called them. It's funny what happened is the Bank of America sold to a Summit Bank. I think it was Summit Bank. Summer Bank folded, Bank of America took it back, but but it's not Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. It's not. They told me it wasn't.
Okay,
Anyway.
because you can always go to Loan Lookup Fannie Mae, Loan Lookup Freddie Mac, and you can plug in your
Right.
information, and it'll tell you whether or not it's a Fannie Freddie. So we know then you can get as low as 2% on that first mortgage on the property. So we'd like to see that lower to 2% and get that payment down. And then the program for the second mortgage is called the 2MP program. That's the numeral 2 and then an MP, otherwise known as the second lien program. And that is all through the Making Home Affordable program, the government-backed program under which HAMP is included. Well, the 2MP program is also that under that umbrella of programs. And the 2MP program says, if your first mortgage holder qualifies you for a HAMP loan modification on the first mortgage, there is a presumption that the second mortgage holder must have that you qualify for HAMP on the second, and they must match the terms of the first at the very least. But what I'd really like to see Bank of America do on that HELOC is to give you a principal reduction, and the principal reduction would be about maybe $30,000. So that we'd like to see it go down to $30,000. So your second loan principal is $89,000. We subtract $30,000 from that, and you're talking about maybe a $60,000 principal reduction on the second mortgage. So that's what I would expect to see if you do loan modifications on the first and the second. So number one, I would highly encourage you to do so, whether you do it yourself or you do it with me. I think you're in great shape to at least try to qualify these investment properties and see if you can't get these numbers down. Why not?
It sounds great, but the question I have is what incentive is there if Bank of America knows about HAMP, and if they do that, they have a problem with the other end of it to do it, number one. And number two, how does that affect my credit rating? Because I have a very good credit rating right now.
Okay, well, credit rating is important when you're going to go out and buy property and when you're going to go out and buy a car or you're going to buy anything on credit. That's what you need your credit score for, because your credit score is there to help you borrow money at a lower interest rate. So what is it that you're planning on buying in the near future that makes your credit score so important to you right now?
I'm an old guy, and I always felt I've never been late on a payment in my entire year, all my life. I've had multiple mortgages.
Well,
I've never been late.
Bravo to you, kudos to you, but unless you can tattoo that on your forehead or wear it on a necklace around your neck, nobody's really going to be able to give you all the credit that you're due for having that great credit score and not missing a payment. What I'd rather see you get is a 2% interest rate, and I'd like to see you get a principal reduction of $50,000, $60,000 on this investment property. And the way to do that is to do a rolling 30 days past due while you're doing the loan modification process. That will trigger Bank of America to believe that you are in imminent default, that there's a chance that you are going to completely default on these mortgages. I don't want you to completely default on them. I don't want you to risk a foreclosure action, but I want you to miss one payment and then go back to paying every month, but you'll always be a month behind during that loan modification application process. That will make your credit score to go down maybe about 50 to 75 points. Once we get the loan modifications done on the first and the second, it'll take about 12 to 18 months for your credit score to pop back up again. So it does have an effect on your credit score. It does, but what is your credit score for? It's for when you're going to purchase things with credit.
Is there any limitation about how much property you own or whatever? When I tried to get some financing done, they said, well, if you have more than X number of properties, that you can't do this. And if the problem I have is I have like 6 mortgages and 2 equity lines with Bank of America, and of which none of them ever bear behind. And the only 2 houses I have out of the 6 are the ones with have the home equity lines. The other ones don't. And would that mean I'd have to go behind on all mortgages to show them I'm having problems, or
Good
just
question,
goes through?
Tom, and I'm going to answer it after the break, so hold on.
You're listening to the Home Mortgage Law Show, 1-800-974-2712. 800-974-2712. John, Peter, Bill, you guys are next here on the Home Mortgage Law Show.
The Teachers Rock Foundation.
You're listening to the Home Mortgage Law Show, brought to you by the law offices of Morris DuPont. We're taking calls at this time, 866-610-NEWS. That's 866-610-6397. We lost John, but we're still on the phone with Tom.
All right, so I was talking to Tom. He has many investment properties. Tom, actually, how many investment properties do you have?
Well, there's 6.
There's 6. So that is a perfectly reasonable amount of investment properties to have when you are looking to your lender on these investment properties to modify. The fact that you have multiple investment properties is not an issue at all. So that shouldn't have stopped your lender from being able to modify the terms of your existing mortgages. That's what a loan modification does. When you're going to refinance, certainly that could be a potential issue, especially if some of these investment properties have negative equity. But for loan modification purposes, that is not going to be an issue. So I hope that that answered the last of your questions.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'll probably have to contact you further, so maybe I can make an appointment to see you guys.
See, that's the thing. That's the easiest way to do it because I offer a free consultation. I'm happy to speak to anyone. I like to sit down and crunch the numbers on your individual property so that you can understand what your options are. I go through all of it, step by step, so that you understand that there are options out there for you and how you should be looking at investment properties, how you should be looking at your primary residence when it does have negative equity, when you are going out of pocket on an investment property, how to analyze it properly to make the decision. Should I hold on to the property? Should I spend the money to modify it with a professional? Should I try to modify it on my own, or should I be doing a short sale? And if so, what kind of short sale should I be doing? Because as I mentioned later in the show, I am going to be talking about the 3 different ways of short selling because the law firm of Morris DuPont has broken it down into 3 different types. So let me give you the contact information, Tom, so you can make an appointment. There are people in the office today, right now, who can schedule an appointment for you. And the phone number is 800-974-2712. That's 800-974-2712. We have offices in St. Petersburg, Tampa, Dadeland, Doral, Aventura, Fort Lauderdale, Plantation, Boca Raton, and West Palm Beach. And if you're not close enough to one of those offices, I'll always do a telephone consultation with you. I've got clients all over the United States as far as Alaska, so no issue with actually where that property is located when it's an investment property.
Well, that's great. Thank you very, very much for your information.
Well, thanks, Tom, for listening to the show, and thanks so much for calling in today. Appreciate it.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, dear. You too.
All right, let's go to Peter.
Hi, Peter.
Hi.
Hey, what can I do for you today?
Yeah, I have a problem. I just want to bring this up. This is a terrible injustice. What happened was in 2007, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I couldn't go back to work. I had a radiation treatment 4 days a week and chemo from June till December, and then all of a sudden, I missed some of my mortgage payments, and then I got better. All right, I had stage 4 cancer. And I started going back to work, and I started making my mortgage payments on a regular basis. Number one, the Bank of America sold me some insurance that if I was disabled or lost my job, that it would make my minimum payment.
And that should be called the Borrower's Protection Plan.
And they denied it. And then they suspended it. All right, so, okay, now I'm going back to work, all right? So I'm making my regular mortgage payments, and they agreed at the end of the year, if I made all of them without any problems, they would reduce my payment. So I did. I had a contract. It was signed in December, and it was notarized. I made my first payment in June, January, February, and then April, and then in March I got a letter from them that said I owed them $8,000, and I wanted to know why. And they said, oh, we made a mistake. And then we canceled that contract. Then in May, all my money in my account was missing. They took it out. I had $2,100 in charges for bounced checks. I called them up and I said, look, guys, what's going on here? Oh, you owe us this money. We can take it out of your account. I said, no, you can't. That's stealing. And they said, oh, we can. And I said, I don't know what kind of a scam this is. So I went online. I had no access to my mortgage, my checking accounts, or my credit cards. It was cut off. Then I had to go down to the Bank of America, and I talked to the bank manager. He took away all the fees, and it cost me $70 to close my account. Then they've been hassling me and hassling me and hassling me. I had like $500,000 in medical bills, and then in November I had a quadruple bypass. They called me at work 7 times in an 8-hour period. They called me on December 24th at 4 something in the afternoon. And now this has been going on since 2007, and so I filed bankruptcy on it. Well, when I bought the house, I bought it with my credit card, and then I had it refinanced and paid off. So what can you say about that?
Peter, I just can hardly believe this story that you're telling me. I mean, it's amazing. Number one, congratulations for beating stage 4 cancer. I have a friend right now with stage 4 cancer, and you're giving me hope. I mean, 2007 was a heck of a year for you. Congratulations for beating stage 4 cancer, first and foremost, man.
I had a quadruple bypass.
Yeah, and then you have a quadruple bypass. I mean, you've got like every hardship that every single one of my clients has ever had, all in one. So kudos to you, man. You're an inspiration. I mean, the fact that you've got so many issues that the Borrower's Protection Plan should have covered you. I don't know why it didn't. You know, Bank of America has this ridiculously stupid Borrower's Protection Plan that you pay for that's like an insurance policy.
I paid over $10,000 into that plan.
Yeah, that's this ridiculous insurance plan that says that if you spend this money for this Borrower's Protection Plan, if you become unemployed, if you become sick, if you meet these certain criteria, the Bank of America, this Borrower's Protection Plan, is going to make your mortgage payment for you for X amount of months. So you're saying that, in fact, even though you believed you qualified for this incident triggering the Borrower's Protection Plan, Bank of America denied it.
Right.
That's the first thing I don't like.
The doctors that were giving me the treatment said that I shouldn't be working. I got very, very sick. I couldn't work, and if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't have even gotten fed.
Unbelievable.
I got no help from nobody.
Yeah.
Except them.
So, and then Bank of America, which they do, whether they have the right to do it or they don't, they do it all the time. If you skip a mortgage payment and you have your checking account at that same bank, you should expect your bank to go into your checking account or your savings account and take the money for that mortgage payment out of the checking or savings account and not ask you for permission. They just do it. Do they have the right to do it? Well, you have to go look at your mortgage documents to see whether or not they have the right. And if they don't have the right, who's going to stop them? What are you going to do? Spend $25,000 to retain an attorney who's willing to go out there and fight a bank as big as Bank of America? So Bank of America knows that. So they go and they take the money out of people's accounts to cover the mortgage payments that are missed. So if you're going to miss a mortgage payment, I highly suggest that you don't have your checking and savings accounts at the same bank.
But I didn't miss any payments. I had a new contract.
They believe that you missed payments. They believe that they had canceled a contract, which in fact they were in breach of the contract by saying that they canceled it without any warning to you. And it just goes on and on and on and on, Peter. You know, it just goes on and on and on. I mean, you've got issue after issue after issue, and I'd love to see if there's ways that we can help. I'd just really like to review the paperwork that you have, review that contract that you said was notarized, review what they're offering you now with make these payments for X amount of months, and then we'll see if we're lower it.
Because they've already lied to me.
Well, you've never had an attorney representing you, so I've got to take a hard break. I want you to stay on the line with us. We've got a couple more calls, but I want to continue talking to you, Peter. So hold on.
That's right. And after Peter, we've got Bill here on the Home Mortgage Law Show. So pick up the phone and book your free consultation right now. 1-800-974-2712. 1-800-974-2712. That's a free consultation at the law firm of Morris DuPont. And their offices are just about everywhere. So if you can hear the show, guaranteed there's an office near you. 1-800-974. You're listening to the Home Mortgage Law Show, 1-866-610-NEWS. That toll-free number will get you right here on air with our attorney, Shay DuPont. We're with you every Saturday from 2 to 4, and the number is 866-610-NEWS, 866-610-6397. AT&T Wireless customers, it's star 610. And Peter?
And Peter's on the phone with us, and Peter basically has all the hardships that I've ever heard of with any of my clients all bundled into his story. He's gone through...
There's more.
Oh my gosh, Peter, I just can't even believe what's been happening to you since 2007.
Well, anyways, my mother, she's disabled. She's on oxygen. My father, he's been cut down to a half a week's pay now. And my daughter was hit by an automobile in a crosswalk and was in a coma. This was in February for 2 months. She has to wear a brace, and she's going in for surgery to correct her voice, and she's not right.
Peter, if you didn't have bad luck, you'd have no luck at all.
And I don't have any place else for them to live.
Well, I want you to all be living Is everyone living together in this house?
No, but my mother and my daughter and my father are living there.
There you go. So I want you to all have a comfortable, safe roof over your house. I want to see what I can do to help you. What area of town do you live in?
In St. Petersburg.
You live in St. Petersburg. Well, why don't you come in and see me at the St. Petersburg office, and I'm going to ask you to bring that paperwork with you, that notarized document that Bank of America breached, the most recent agreement that they have you under, if you have something in writing for that. And let me...
I don't have any agreement. That they said they made a new contract, but I don't know what it is.
All right. Well, I will call Bank of America with you in the room with me, and we will ask the right questions of Bank of America so we can understand exactly what it is they're offering you and see whether or not I believe that that's a good deal, and see whether or not we can qualify you for something that's going to make a big enough difference to make it make sense for you to stay in that house, because it certainly doesn't seem like the time to be moving, does it?
No, it's my mother's birthday today, and she's not well enough to go anywhere, so we're getting a birthday cake and having it over there.
Well, that sounds lovely. Well, enjoy your mother's birthday. I'm not going to keep you, but I want you to come in and see me in the St. Pete office. It's a free consultation. It's not going to cost you anything. I'm going to give you the number. I want you to call the office today. There's people in the office today that can schedule you for St. Pete with me. So the number is 800-974-2712. And I'll be in the St. Pete office probably the first week in December. I usually work out of the Doral office in Miami, but I come over and I do the St. Pete and the Tampa office to give JC a break. And I love going over there, actually. I love, if I didn't have a grandson in Miami, I would be probably living over in the Tampa Bay area. I love it over there.
I got a letter from the Bank of America that says on the 12th of December they're going to go to court against me. So.
Okay, we seriously need to meet, and we need to meet lickety-split. So if you call the office now, see what they can do to get you into an appointment that first week in December, because obviously next week we've got Thanksgiving, and that messes things up a little bit. But the following week, and if not, let's do at least a phone consultation earlier to see what it means when the lender says that they're going to do something at the beginning of December, okay? Because I don't want it to be a sale date on your house, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right?
All right.
All right, Peter, thanks for calling the show. I look forward to meeting you, and I look forward to trying to help you, okay?
Thanks.
All right. I'm so blessed to be able to have some tools available to me that I can actually help people like Peter who've had really such bad luck for so long an amount of time.
And it's not just you. You have a whole team.
Exactly. Exactly. The law firm of Morris DuPont offers the following services. That is foreclosure defense, loan modifications, short sales, bankruptcy, credit restoration, debt settlement. We work with Attorneys Title Group, doing title for any and all real estate closings. We work with Regal Tax Advisory Group, helping people with their accounting and tax needs. So we've got this whole team of people working at Morris DuPont and its associated companies to make sure that you are being properly represented with your issues regarding your home mortgage, your tax issues, your debt issues, any sort of consumer law that you can think of. Morris DuPont is there to help you through it. The banks have lawyers representing them, and you should too.
All right, Bill, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bill. Thanks for waiting. What can we do for you today?
Hi, Shay.
Hi.
No problem. I had sent 4 clients over to you, and you've helped 3 of them. I've got 2 more people that need help. The first one is being foreclosed. In fact, her house is up. They're putting her house up for sale on December 17th.
Oh, gosh.
And what's happened is it's from Tropical Telco.
It's from what?
It's the second Tropical Telco.
Tropical
Credit
Telco.
union. Right.
Okay.
It's a second mortgage, and I told her to call you and to go to the Aventura office to make an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
What I told her, I didn't know whether her second mortgage could foreclose on her mortgage.
Well, any lien on a property can foreclose if there is a default by the borrower. So, if they have the right to foreclose, then they can exercise that right if you default under the provisions of the note. So if it's a second mortgage, and even if they don't have any equity in the property, they might be stupid enough to file a foreclosure action and seek a foreclosure of the property. Now, at a foreclosure sale, will they get any money if there's negative equity on the first mortgage? The second mortgage will not get a dime. Now, I've had twice in my career a second mortgage holder that had an unsecured note file a foreclosure action against one of my clients. And each time when I called that lender up and said, what are you doing foreclosing on my client when the first mortgage has negative equity and you have no equity on the property? Each time the lender was mistaken. In the first case, they thought that the property was worth more, so they thought that they actually had a secured interest in the property, so that if the property went to a foreclosure sale, they would actually get some money out of the foreclosure sale. I was happy to send them a BPO, a broker's price opinion, showing them, look, the property has negative equity on the first mortgage. You guys are going to get nada out of a foreclosure. Dismiss your case. And they did. The second time, the lender thought that they were in first position. They didn't realize there was a mortgage ahead of them. And they thought that if they foreclosed, they would, of course, get the bulk of the foreclosure sale proceeds. And when I showed them, look, there's another lender in first position, you're in second position, again, they agreed to dismiss. So I don't know the circumstances with this person, but is there equity on the second mortgage?
No.
What is that second mortgage holder think they're doing? What is the purpose?
I have the slightest idea. I have the. Would Chapter 7 help her and to redo it where she could keep her house?
Well, does she need to do a Chapter 7, or do we just need to let that second lien holder know that there is no equity for them to go after? Has anyone ever informed them that they...
I told her, I gave her your number. I said if she wanted me to go with her, that I would.
Oh, you're a good friend.
Well, I did that with 2 people so far. One other person I went over to your Aventura office, which they helped. The second one is the same problem. This woman here is going to be foreclosed on the 27th of December. The house is going up for sale.
Well, not like you're leaving it till the last minute, Bill. What, you got some friends here.
I understand. I just found out that a house was being foreclosed on, and she was afraid. She's got 3 kids, and she works and she's alone, and I just can't believe these people and what these banks are doing.
Well, the banks are doing a lot more foreclosures. They're taking these properties to foreclosure sales much faster now. You've got cases from 2009 that are now being set for foreclosure sale because the lenders are realizing that there's a lot of cash investors out there that are going to snap up these properties at these foreclosure sales, and they're getting better prices for them. So there's a sudden rush to foreclosure sales. There's been more foreclosure sales in the month of October of 2013 than in any previous month in Miami-Dade County. So we've got these foreclosure sales that are speeding up. So you're going to see a lot more people in this position. Don't wait until the last minute to call us, because it narrows your options down as to what we can and cannot do. You said it yourself, Bill. Should she file a Chapter 7? Well, maybe she's going to need to file a Chapter 7. That might be her only option. But 6 months ago, I could have done a short sale. I could have tried to get a loan modification for her. I mean, on the December 27th one, I probably still can try to get a loan mod, but we've got to take a hard...
a loan mod, and they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, well, hold on, and we'll talk about denials of loan mods. Hold on with us,
You're
Bill.
listening to the Home Mortgage Law Show, 1-800-974-2712, 1-800-974-2712. That's a toll-free number for a free consultation at the law firm of Morris DuPont. Much more of the Home Mortgage Law Show after this.